Hello and welcome to What the Fight, and this is the news. So, first bit of news is the rumour that Tyron Woodley has got his next opponent lined up, and that is Leon Edwards. So I think this would be an incredible fight. I think this would do a lot for Leon Edwards' career, but I don't know if he'd be able to get past Tyron Woodley. That's obviously a very difficult fight. Tyron's a former champion. He obviously defended his belt a few times at welterweight, but that could be a potentially star-making performance for Leon, and if you could get past Tyron, that could definitely shoot him up the rankings. I would only really see him having one more fight, maybe even fight for the title, if you're beating the former champion like that. I don't know if he'll be able to get past Tyron Woodley though. Tyron Woodley hits very hard. He obviously has KO power, and his wrestling is world class. So, the next bit of news is Ben Asrken went on the Errol Hawani MMA show and talked about his future in MMA. And he did talk about retirement. He did say that it's possibly on the cards now. And this does make sense. You know, he coming off back-to-back losses, he went on to say that all he wanted was an opportunity to prove that he was the best in the world. And he hasn't done it. So, to get back from where he is now, you know, ranked at number 11, he's looking at maybe anywhere between 3 and 5 fights to get to a title shot. And obviously anything can change in MMA, but I do think that he is quite a way off getting that title shot now, especially at 35 years old, having to go through that many fights. So we'll see. I don't know if he'll carry on. I predict he'll do one more fight and then retire, but he's definitely taking this loss differently than he did the Jorge Masvidal loss. He went on to say that after the Masvidal loss, he just wanted to get back onto it straight away and just get back in. But after the Damian Maia loss, he's a lot further away from that title picture now. Next, we have some news coming out of Bellator. We had Bellator 232 the other day, and I think the two most interesting fights on that card, we had Paul Daly winning his fight with a vicious left hook. If you get the chance, go on YouTube and watch those highlights because it was devastating. But the biggest bit of news coming out of Bellator 232 was the final of the welterweight Grand Prix. Obviously we have Rory McDonald, who was the welterweight champion, long time considered one of the best welterweights on the planet. He was the last person to hold a win over Tyron Woodley before Usman beat him, and he actually lost. Douglas Lima managed to get the unanimous decision victory over Rory McDonald. He was tearing him apart for most of the fight, and Douglas Lima wins the Bellator welterweight Grand Prix, wins about $1 million prize money, and is now the new welterweight champion. So, not a bit of news now, but just a bit of predictions. I thought that'd be quite fun. So obviously we have UFC 244 coming up this weekend, so I just wanted to run through a few quick predictions. So, first we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Darren Till. Kelvin is coming off a loss to Israel Adesanya, but it is needed to be said that it was a split decision loss and it was a razor close fight. And then we have Darren Till, who's coming off a couple losses, first to Tyron Woodley, and then obviously to Jorge Masvidal back in London. So who do I think is going to win this fight? I think it's a very hard one. I think Kelvin is looking as strong as he's ever looked. He looked $1 million against Israel Adesanya. But I don't know, I've always said that I think middleweight is where Darren Till would fight the best. He always looks really, really drained when he had to get down to welterweight. You could tell that that weight cut was really brutal on him. So it's going to be a hard one to judge, obviously, without seeing him at middleweight, but I do think middleweight is where Darren Till belongs. And I do feel like he's confident. He's feeling, you know, if you've watched that training footage of him on Instagram, he's looking big, he's looking stocky, but he's still looking pretty fast. Both of these guys have knockout power, but I do think Darren Till is going to get the win. So in the main event we have Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz. This is a tough one. Both of these guys are absolute killers. East Coast gangster versus West Coast gangster. Now this was a hard one. I thought about this a lot over the last couple of days, and I do think that I'm going to give the win to Nate Diaz. Why do I think I'm going to win Nate Diaz? Two reasons. I think cardio and I think ground game. I think Diaz has impeccable cardio that he can put up against anyone, and his ground game is second to none. Jorge does have that knockout power, but I don't know if he'll be able to withstand Diaz's just constant jabs and constant pushing. and we see this in Diaz a lot. He'll tend to feel you out for the first couple of rounds and then really get going in the later rounds, especially in the championship rounds. He will really start to push, and I do think we'll see Nate get the finish. I'll even say by submission against Jorge Masvidal. Let me know who you think's going to win in the comments down below. Please like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I'll leave everything down below, and thank you very much.